Chennedy Carter is gone. Not suspended, gone. The WNBA didn't just punish her, they erased her. One shove on Caitlin Clark and a career built over 6 years collapsed in 6 seconds.
Martin looking. Here's Clark. She fires, and it goes! She hit it!
No warning, no second chance, just a door slamming shut. Permanently. But here's what nobody is talking about. This ban wasn't just about one moment on the court. There's a trail of incidents, closed-door confrontations, and silent teammates that the league never wanted you to connect. The real story started long before Caitlin Clark hit the floor. The WNBA just sent a message so loud that every player in the league felt it. Stay with us, because what we're about to reveal changes everything you thought you knew. The shove that stopped the league. It was a regular season game, Indiana Fever versus Chicago Sky. Attendance was the highest since 2015. On the surface, nothing suggested this night would end up in the history books. The arena was packed, the energy was electric. Fans had shown up in numbers that just 2 years ago would have been unthinkable for a mid-season matchup. It was a sign of how much the league had grown and how much was now at stake every single night. Caitlin Clark was doing what she does best, controlling the tempo, threading passes, and hitting shots from distances that make defenders look helpless. The Fever were building momentum, and Chicago was feeling the pressure. You could see it in their body language, the defensive rotations breaking down, the frustration creeping into every movement. Then, Chennedy Carter walked up behind Clark. No ball in the air, no contested shot, no basketball reason at all. Carter delivered a full-force shoulder check that sent Clark crashing to the hardwood. The arena went silent. It wasn't the usual reaction to a hard foul. It was the kind of quiet that happens when thousands of people realize they just watched something that wasn't supposed to happen. When the league office released its statement, the language was unusually cold. They described Carter's actions as a deliberate assault inconsistent with the values of professional basketball. The punishment, an indefinite suspension with conditions for reinstatement. But here is the catch. Multiple sources confirmed those conditions were designed to be nearly impossible to satisfy. We're talking over 500 hours of community service and exhaustive behavioral assessments with no defined endpoint. It's a locked door with a combination they never gave her. As one senior executive put it off the record, this is a career execution. They just didn't use that word. This wasn't an isolated event. In 2019, Carter was the 4th overall pick for the Atlanta Dream, but within months, a locker room confrontation with Courtney Williams, one of the most even-tempered veterans in the league, rattled the organization. Later, with the LA Sparks, Carter reportedly dismissed tactical input and walked out on film sessions. The Sparks eventually paid her $90,000 just to leave. In a league where every dollar counts, a team paying 6 figures to not have you in the building is the ultimate red flag. Perhaps the most telling part, the silence of her own teammates. In the WNBA, player solidarity is everything. But after this ban, there were no statements of support, no excessive punishment claims. Even Angel Reese, who appeared to have a genuine bond with Carter, unfollowed her on social media within hours. The locker room had already pulled away long before the night in Indiana. 30 seconds of accountability at the post-game press conference could have changed the narrative. Instead, Carter doubled down. She didn't just shove a rival, she shoved away her future. With endorsement deals vanishing and international markets tightening, the total loss is estimated to exceed $4 million. At 25 years old, Chennedy Carter had the tools for a legendary career. But choices, unlike injuries, don't heal on their own.
First in the league in fast break points.
Clark connects on a deep 3.
Basketball at the highest level. Everything else is just noise. That was the message from Caitlin Clark. As one former WNBA All-Star noted, the poise Clark showed under that kind of pressure is something you simply cannot teach. That is leadership revealing itself in real time. The contrast between these two players is impossible to ignore. One player turned down the volume and got back to work. The other walked into a press conference with her arms crossed and her walls up. The WNBA's viewership is up 87% year over year, and merchandise sales are at historic highs. Clark is a massive engine behind that growth, and when the league chose to send the strongest disciplinary message in its recent history, they were choosing which version of their future they wanted to build. The choice was not difficult to make. Chennedy Carter had undeniable talent, a first step defenders couldn't touch, and defensive intensity that coaches dream about. But none of it mattered in the end, because talent without accountability is like a car without a steering wheel. Eventually, it crashes. The WNBA drew a line, not just for Carter, but for every player watching. Talent gets you in the door, but professionalism keeps you there. Carter's story will be told in locker rooms for years, not as a story about a shove, but as a cautionary tale of what happens when a star refuses to grow. The league moves forward. Whether Chennedy Carter moves with it, that answer is still being written.